Harbour with news from RNZ Pacific. I'm Johnny Blades. A Marshall Islands migrant in the United States was reportedly nearly deported to Africa. This comes as the large Marshallese population in the U.S. state of Arkansas has been rocked by an ongoing U.S. immigration enforcement crackdown. Marshall's journalist Giff Johnson says the individual was taken from Arkansas to Guantanamo Bay in Cuba by U.S. officials to be sent somewhere in Africa before it was put right.
To show you that they have no clue about anything about what they're doing, the Marshall Islands.
Johnson says an estimated 40 Marshallese have been deported from Arkansas alone. Staff at the main hospital in Vanuatu's capital, Port Vila, have returned to work. More than 300 health workers and staff walked off the job on Wednesday, demanding that the government pay their promised risk allowances for working during the earthquake disaster in Port Vila nearly a year ago. Buzz FM's Kizzy Kalsikow says the Prime Minister, Jotham Napa, stepped in.
He met with officials from the Ministry of Health, the Public Service Commission, the Government Remuneration Tribunals, and the hospital staff, their representatives, to restore services and ensure that payments are fast-tracked.
Kizzy Kalsikow says medical staff have warned that if no payments are received by 4:30 p.m. Friday local time, staff will walk off again. Research commissioned by Greenpeace into deep-sea mining in the Cook Islands shows the country is unlikely to make any money from the practice. The research performed by Triton Consulting Services reviewed the economic potential of polymetallic nodules in the Cook Islands seabed. In sports news, Crusaders wing Sevu Reece says it wasn't an easy call to end his All Blacks rugby career. Reece will leave New Zealand at the end of the next Super Rugby season to take up a 3-year deal with French club Perpignan. He said the depth among the All Blacks outside backs helped him make the choice to move.
The decision to go was probably one of the toughest decisions I've had to make. This is all I know as a Crusaders, and I had to go back and forth, lots of conversations with people, and just my little family that I have. That timing-wise, everything was, fell into place.
Has played 37 tests for New Zealand and is Super Rugby's all-time leading try scorer with 66 tries. That's a bulletin from RNZ Pacific.
Malolele, this is Pacific Waves from RNZ Pacific. Also on a coming up, Marshallese community in the States reeling from Trump deportation. Also, Australia records its largest number of Indigenous deaths in custody.
People who behave violently, yes, prison may be an appropriate response, but not a death sentence.
And the Pacific Fisheries Body takes new conservation steps. Marshallese advocates in Arkansas say their community has been rocked by immigration enforcement. The state's northwest boasts the largest community of Marshall Islands descent in the country. Marshallese have visa-free travel benefits to the U.S. due to an agreement it has with the U.S. government. Kaya Selby has more.
The northwest Arkansas area is home to more than 15,000 Marshallese Americans, around 50% of the total U.S. population of Marshallese.
World Wildlife Fund New Zealand has welcomed new conservation measures adopted by the Pacific region at its third annual Tuna Summit. The Western and Central Pacific Fisheries Commission agreed on new procedures to sustainably manage stocks of all the important South Pacific albacore tuna fisheries. WWF NZ is also happy that the regional body has moved to protect seabirds who are highly threatened by longline fishing vessels. The Chief Executive, Kayla Kingdon-Bev, spoke to Johnny Blades.
So the Western and Central Pacific Fisheries Commission, which is the rule-setting body for Pacific tuna fisheries, has taken a long overdue step to protect some of our world's most endangered seabirds, including our rarest seabird, the Antipodean albatross. And in its latest meeting, which happened, just a few days ago, the Commission agreed to strengthen the rules to protect seabirds in a major stretch of ocean north of Aotearoa.
In Samoa, one election petition is still before the court following the August general election. 8 election petitions were filed following the 2025 election. Our correspondent in Samoa, Ngalo Malimana Tipi Autawaya, spoke with Moira Tule Patela, who began by asking him if the current election petition system is working.
There is no improvement of this system of especially filing allocations of bribery and cheating after the general election or a by-election.
Does 8 seem like a small number, or have there been even bigger numbers? It's like, what was the biggest number of election petitions filed in the past?
Well, remember the Electoral Act was amended, and that stops anyone who can file, because before in the Electoral Act, anyone, even a voter, can file allegations of bribery and cheating.
That's Pacific Waves for today. For episodes, head over to rnz.co.nz/Pacific. Also on Spotify, Apple and iHeartRadio. From myself and the RNZ Pacific team, Aida Talk 534.
Hello through and welcome everyone to the Melanesia Update. Mikoroy Hawkins, this time they need joining now from Buzz FM, Vanuatu.
Vanuatu Nightly News, brought to you by National Bank of Vanuatu, Vanuatu's own bank.
Internet headlines: Vanuatu takes regional lead with high-tech weather upgrade. Australia's First Nations ambassador strengthens cultural and public ties during visit. New lunar road signals a breakthrough in rural access and climate-resilient development, and Lucky Dubby Band arrives ahead of Sunday concert. Good evening and welcome to Vanuatu Nightly News. I'm Kizzy Kansakau. It is Mr. Right. State appeal to be heard Wednesday, 17th of December. The political standoff in Vanuatu has escalated further as the Speaker of Parliament, Stephen Felix, lodged an appeal just hours after the Supreme Court ruled that the opposition's no confidence motion was valid and must be debated on Tuesday, 16 December, which relates to 300,000 voters, and for the payments to be issued as promised by PSC, Public Service Commission. Delays in processing these payments triggered the half-day stand-down. However, this morning, Prime Minister Jordan Napat met with officials from the Ministry of Health, the Public Service Commission, PLC, the Government Remuneration Tribunal, GRT, and hospital staff representatives to restore services and ensure that payments are fast-tracked. Dr. Nelson Dankwa, who is their spokesperson, confirmed staff resumed full duties yesterday evening. The assurances all allowances would be paid by the end of this week. Acting Director General of Finance, Tony Sewell, says over 90 million vouchers have been allocated under the Ministry of Finance budget following a Council of Ministers decision earlier this week on Tuesday. Prime Minister Napat stresses in this morning meeting that delays affecting essential health services are unacceptable and instructed the Public Service Commission to act more proactively in the future. Staff have warned that they may resume the stand down if payments are not received by 5:30 p.m. tomorrow, Friday afternoon, in each of the accounts. In Belhatro, Australia's inaugural ambassador for First Nations people, Justin Mohammed, is in Vanuatu this week for a series of high-level meetings aimed at deepening cultural, community and government cooperation.
About the relationship that we've already got between our governments and the long-standing relationship that is, but then how do we build it and embed it even further, and how we deepen our relationships, how we bring people-to-people connections, obviously government-to-government, but also people-to-people. And in my case, our First Nations people of Australia, Torres Strait, our
Aboriginal people, and also our South Sea Islander community that we have over here, which a lot of them have connections back here to Vanuatu.
And Malaliu's recycled shelter and the years of isolation caused by flood-damaged tracks. Leaders describe the project as a milestone for both mobility and resilience, while Australia's High Commissioner says it reflects the partnership ensuring investment benefits stay within local communities. For Mona, the road represents not just improved transport, but long-awaited progress and a new chapter of opportunity for island families. With that concludes our Vanuatu Nightly News. You can still follow BNN through Buzz SoundCloud, Buzz Facebook page, our website www.buzzfm.bu, Capital FM 1 and 7, and Radio New Zealand Melanesian Update RNZ Pacific. I'm Kizzy Kalsakal. Yeah, very good night.
And that was Vanuatu Nightly News, brought to you by National Bank of Vanuatu, Vanuatu's own bank.
And now, Melanesian Update Program with Corey Hawkins. Thank you to Mas for tuning in. Bisa Kasim Okata up-to-date news and current affairs on our website Bamifala, rnzi.com, and we follow staff tool on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search him at RNZ Pacific.
This is an RNZ podcast.